So maps are our way of getting from A to B. They're our way of finding our way from the start to the campsite and from the campsite to the finish and so on. Again, they're much easier to make sense of when we're actually out and about on our expedition. But really briefly, what we can use a map for is, well, all sorts of things. Maybe just about see there's a blue grid across the whole map. And from that we can work out some distance and some scale. And then from that we can work out some timing. Can be a bit more accurate with these timing cards and measuring cards that have got like a rule around the edge. And then on the back, there's a big table of, if we're going this far, it'll take this long, and etc. So we can work out distance and timings and things like that. From the scale, we can work out direction. So the top of the map up here, that's always north. So look at the writing, work out where the top is, and the top is always north. And that means that we've got east over there, and south over there, and west on my side of this map. So we can work out direction really easily. We've also got loads of lines. You probably see some of these green lines here. We've got a big red line up the middle, a big blue patch down here, and obviously blue up here as well. These lines are rights of way. That could be a footpath, it could be a bridle way, it could be a road. They're all useful to us. Some of the other lines, like this red one, is a big busy A road, and lots of these black lines over here, they're all fences and walls in the fields. So whilst they're not rights of way, they're still really useful to us. Some of the other things we've got are, as I just mentioned, we've got the blue space, which is water, whether that be a lake or a river. We've got some greens to mark forest. Up here we've got yellow to mark sand. We don't see that very often, but we're near the coast where we are now. But we have got lots and lots of little blue symbols. You can see a bunch of them here around this town. And all of those blue symbols are really useful, kind of like tourist information. So that could be a car park, it could be public toilets, it could be one that's a bike hire centre, or there'll be nature reserves, all sorts of things. There's loads and loads of these blue symbols. You'll find a key on the map up here, and there's some more in that corner. Have a look at that and you'll work out what all those symbols mean. As well as those symbols, we've got a lot of these orange lines. You can see them up here in this slightly more open area, but they do cover the whole map. These lines are our contour lines, and they help us work out what shape the ground is. We can use those to work out whether it's uphill or downhill, is it steep, is it nearly level, all these sorts of things. We can get that from the contour lines. So that's these kind of light orange brown kind of lines that are everywhere across our map. We can also use these maps to describe a location. So we can use the place names, or the name of the road, or the village name, or we can use the numbers up the side of the map and across the bottom of the map, generate a grid reference. Grid references are probably the best way to describe a location out here in the countryside. Why might we need that? Well, it might be you've agreed to meet your supervisor somewhere just to check in, make sure everyone's okay. It might be that actually you've got a problem and you need some help, and you need to tell your supervisor where you are so we can come and find you. So grid references are really handy for working out where we are and relaying a location from one person to another. We'll cover all of that in much more detail on your actual dealt with as your first day, whether that be a training day or a practice expedition. We can talk a little bit about navigation strategy. It's really good to have a strategy, just so that we have a plan, basically. And what I like to use is something called the 4 Ds. So there's 4 things, beginning with D, help us build a strategy and a plan for our navigation. And they are direction. If we don't set off in the right direction, we will definitely never make it to where we're going. It is distance, how far is it? And then from that we can calculate the duration, how long it will take. And then I like to build a really accurate description of where I'm going. So if I was coming along this path here that turns into a road, it might be, we're going to start from here by the old quarry, and we'll be on the left of the river, and we'll go diagonally down and across the hillside. We'll come down into the bottom of the valley, still on the footpath. We'll come past a little building, maybe a small farm and a footpath junction. Just before that we cross the river, so we're now on the right of the river. We get to another junction and we do a sharp left turn, which crosses back over the river again. And that's then quite a straight path for, if I measure it, it's a straight path for about 1.5 kilometres. At that point we get to a car park at the end of a small lane. And we're going to follow that lane for another approximately 3 kilometres to a junction. And that junction is where we're going to meet our supervisor. We'll know when we're at that junction because we'll have come downhill, we'll have come past some trees, and there will be a junction in the road. So a really detailed description will make this a whole lot more reassuring, make it a whole lot more accurate, and that means you're a whole lot safer out in the hills because you are going where you're supposed to be going, and that will be a safe and well-planned route. You will get a compass, that's one of these. You will get 2 actually in your group. I'm not going to talk about that now because it's almost impossible to learn how to use that without actually being in a real place with one, but we'll come back to that on your practice expedition. And then to sit around this whole thing of navigation, a good process of making sure that you are safe. You've got a supervisor per group who is solely there to look out for you, make sure you're doing well and that you're going the right way and that you're safe. We will give you one of these. This is a GPS tracker, and this is so that we can see where you are. That means if you have a problem, we can come and give you a hand really quickly and efficiently. And it also means that if things are going well, we can leave you to just get on with it. We can leave you to have your independent expedition safely because we can see that you're still in a safe place. We'll be nearby, but if we don't have to interfere, we won't. We are there if you need us. So there's nothing you can do with this other than leave it in the lid of your rucksack where it's close to the sky. And if we need it, we can log in and see where you're up to. There's a couple of other things as well as part of that safety process, which we'll cover when you get to us, when we really start training. But that includes an app, which will help you work out where you are if you're struggling to do it from paper, and a couple of other bits too. Whilst you're out on your own on the countryside, you're still being looked out for and we're still keeping you nice and safe.